you doing, YouTube? And welcome to Carry Vlog. My name is Sensei Roger. I had a request for this video. Someone requested for me to do a video on what is the difference between Kenpo Karate and Shotokan. That's all they asked me. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, but I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit. So first I'm going to do is talk a little bit. Alright, Kenpo Karate, that I know more about. Shotokan Karate, I did a little bit of like katas I learned out of books and things like that. From, you know, a couple books I had from the man who was the founder of the Shotokan Karate. So there's a little bit of research I had to do on that. What I did is I had a book called Karate Do, My Way of Life. It was by this man, I believe his name is pronounced Funakoshi is his last name, I may be wrong, but it's been a while since I had the book. I let someone borrow it and then it disappeared. But here it is, I looked up what does Shotokan mean. Alright, so I already know what karate means. It means empty hand. Kenpo means fist law. So basically the law of fists. Someone attacks you, right? You got the law of your fist. You're taking them out with your fist. That's the translation of the name itself. Of course, translating the name doesn't always give you what the style is. It gives you the origin. I mean, the origin is going to help you figure out where, you know, what kind of style it is. So I looked it up, but let me get a little farther. This book here kind of made sense now when I looked up the name Shotokan. Let me tell you first, I know I'm going back and forth, I'm like playing ping pong here with you guys, but the name Shoto was, you know, Funakoshi's pen name, so pretty much when he wrote poetry, he put Shoto was his name that he would write. And that translates into pine waves. Now I said it was going to make sense when I read that book. When I was reading that book, he used to talk about how he'd walk in the forest. You know, he would train, he would walk miles to go to a, you know, instructor and learn the martial arts. So he would walk a long time, a lot of miles to go there. And so now you're walking through the forest, you know that like when the wind blows through the trees, it's like a wave through the trees. So pine trees, pine forests, pine waves, makes sense. Now, Kan means house. Now, the name Shotokan means house of pine waves. Okay, now Funakoshi did not name this Shotokan. He simply, you know, just pretty much called it Karate or Karate Do. The original name that was kind of on the books, I guess, that I came up with, this is what I looked at. I researched this, guys. I just found out recently, I didn't get that deep into it, so if I'm wrong, help us out here. That's what this is about too. What's the difference between, you guys, if I fall short on the mark here, help us out in the comments. But here it is. Dai, D-A-I is what I came up with, is number one. That's the translation that I got when I looked up that word. Right? Then it's Nippon. N-I-P-P-O-N. I got translation of Sun origin or Japan. You know, so I don't know if that's right. Let me know if it is, but that's what I came up with. Kenpo with the M, which translate basically fist principle, which is like fist law. Kenpo is with the N here. That's more of the Chinese way translation of it. So it's really close of it. Kenpo, Kenpo, or M-N. It's pretty much the same translation. Jitsu, J-I-T-S-U, which you know from Jiu-Jitsu. Alright, so this is what came out of there. Is fidelity, kindness, reality, sincerity, or truth. Those are words I got out of that. But I also know it from Jiu-Jitsu is gentle way. And then karate is empty hand. We talked about that. And then do is what it was thrown on there. I tried to find what do was. I couldn't find much, but I pretty much think it's just a way of, you know, training the empty hand. That's the only thing I really come up with. But Shotokan really got coined the phrase of, because a lot of other stylists, karateka, like karate stylists, would come up with their own system and put names to it. So then they nicknamed it Shotokan because it was the House of Pine Waves. Does that make any kind of sense? Okay, that didn't answer any question what the difference between Kenpo karate and Shotokan karate is. Okay, I looked up origin. I was seeing in the beginning origins, basically is both of them kind of match a lot of origins. They both have jiu-jitsu in it, empty hand in there. So it's like Japanese and Okinawa is the big, the origin that this came from, the Shotokan. Kenpo has that same likeness. But Kenpo also has influence from China, so it's got your Hungar Kung Fu is what we do in the Kenpo. Okay, so now we also had influence from Hawaii. Before it was a state here in the United States. We also have influence from the mainland here in the United States. Ed Parker was a big part of that one. And he also had Hungar guys training with them and helped, he brought some stuff to the table too, they did. And that's where Tracy's karate came from, is Ed Parker. And we taught it the way Ed Parker originally taught it, and Ed Parker got American Kenpo too. So things are changing a little bit. What we teach is considered as Chinese Kenpo. So that's what we teach here at Tracy's Karate. So the difference is we picked up some other things from that. Now here's a huge difference I did notice. I have learned kata, Shotokan katas out of a book. I can't remember the kata now. It's been a long time since I did it. I can't remember when I did a few of them. But I know a few things that would be different. Is Kenpo came to America without any katas. No weapons, no, because remember we're fist law, empty hand, but no weapons came with it. There was no open hand katas that came with it, or forms. So a lot of our forms were made up by Ed Parker. Al Tracy made up some later on too. Then you had some of our forms that were brought to us, by some of the, Hungar guys, the Kung Fu guys made the katas. That's what some of the katas we still teach today here at Kenpo, or the Tracy system, but some of the other systems may not teach it. But the thing is, I know one thing is, our katas that were put together was through our self-defense techniques. Here's a little piece that I've got from some of the, the Shotokan and the other karate systems, which are similar too, is basically a back stance. We don't use that in Kenpo at all. I learned every technique that we have to learn in the Tracy system, and not one of them had a back stance. We do have the cat stance with knife hand blocks, inward blocks, which you do see in the Shotokan also. You can see the tiger jaws in Shotokan, you see it in the Kenpo. Alright, so here we go. We're going to turn, I'm going to do the back stance here from what I know. We're going to come in here, we're turning, shifting our weight here, this is here. You can do it from a knife hand block, is usually what I've seen it from, is here. Now the thing is that gets you out of the way. We don't back stance, but a lot of times you'll see us do this. It's almost like a back stance here in a way, but we're coming in here and we're not staying there long. So instead of coming in the back stance like this, we just shift like this. But you're having this knee slightly bent, this one's almost straight, you block. So we'll move our body out of the way, same as the back stance. But we'll shift it, block, strike here a lot of times is what we'll do in the Kenpo. This is what I've seen from the back stance here. You could probably do that stuff, now move right into a cat. So the back stance, you can come in here, to here even, here's your kick. Here's a move we have in the Kenpo. We step, cat, block, kick, then we chop. See, we usually keep our hand here. We don't come in like this though. What I have learned from the other styles when I was doing with them You know, I almost said playing with them because I didn't really take it that serious. I just learned a couple katas to try to help improve my Kenpo. I don't pick any of the systems, but I focus hard on Kenpo for a long time. So now I'm starting to branch out a little more. So I do like the challenge that was given to me on this. So when we do the back stance, so we chamber hands back like this is what I learned when I was doing the Shotokan stuff, but I really didn't touch enough Shotokan to really know anything about it. So that was kind of cool when we did this research. I like that part. I like that part. I like all parts of the martial arts. If I can understand things, that's awesome. But check it out for yourself, guys. Here's a couple of moves from the Kenpo that we have. So we block here instead. You know, we do that block, elbow, elbow, double chop, come back up. So that's where we're coming in here. We do the Kung Fu influence. A lot of the karate guys do not recognize Kenpo as karate whatsoever. But that's kind of not true. A lot of guys in Kung Fu don't want to recognize Kenpo as Kung Fu either, and that's not exactly true. So we take pieces parts. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Just like Judo was influenced by Jiu-Jitsu, but it's its own art now. That's where Kenpo really branched off into its own. Because it took pieces of different systems and put it together. We are our own art. So hopefully I helped you guys out a little bit. You know, it challenged me a little bit. That's okay with me. I thank you for that. So if you guys have anything that you can help add to this, put it in the comments. That's the good thing about YouTube, is not just showing videos. Nice thing about YouTube is it's like a social media too, so we can communicate with each other, help each other. So just come on, give us some good comments in there that could help me. I don't know Shotokan. I wouldn't mind knowing a little bit more of everything else. You know, so my understanding for like Shotokan is the styling of training is like a harder with the technique and looking for more power to stuff. You know, than the Kenpo. We just more or less just get there and hit it. So that's why we're not always considered karate, but we're not always considered Kung Fu either. We kind of stand almost alone. But as you see when I broke down the original name that I picked up on there, had Kenpo in there, fifth principle. So really, how much difference is there in the martial arts? Maybe it's just to how we train. You know? Check it out though. I mean, be more open to other systems. There's no great system out there saying, this is the best system in the world. No, come on now, guys. And if you haven't subscribed yet to what? Shodan1197? What are you waiting for? God bless you.